Hey everyone, how's it going? Let's play some Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup with this beginner caster guide and resume with our Ogre Venom Mage, the exploration of Zot's terrifying dungeon. Alright, so we got into some big fights here on D9, and I think it's time to press on and see if we can find some sub-branches. So let me give this troll a bunch of poisonous vapors. He's got now 3 ticks on him, and I'm just going to ignite the poison to kill him. He's gone. Our fighting continues to improve, and as you can see, we're already up to 90 hit points. I'm just going to give this guy some poison, and he'll die very, very soon. Ooh. We just got knowledge of Frozen Ramparts. Now, Frozen Ramparts is actually a really, really cool spell. No pun intended, because it's an ice magic spell, but it's a spell that I want to memorize. Remember, Frozen Ramparts, or any spell really, you can forget with a Scroll of Amnesia. And I bring that up because Frozen Ramparts, in my experience, is a very nice spell to have in the early and the mid-game, but it kind of trails off in effectiveness because it stops scaling very well and doing very much damage, but it can be super effective given certain applications. For example, in the lair, because it's cold damage, you can use it to freeze and slow down like even hydras and then do good damage to them. It takes a second to get used to how to use this spell, but it is a nice AoE spell that you can use. You can even use it as an escape mechanism because it can slow enemies down. So I really like the spell, but it might be a spell that you don't use later. Now, remember, Behemoth's offerings are going to be random, so you might, if you're playing along, you might not get Frozen Ramparts as an offering, and you have to make a decision on if you're going to take the spells that have been offered. Now, this is ice magic, which I have no skill in whatsoever, so you can see because of that, it's at a 22% fail rate. However, I don't think there's anything wrong with training a little bit of ice magic here to try and get that controlled, because I want to have some other damage beyond poison. Alright. Alright, there's this jelly. These translucent glass walls, you can see through them, but you cannot cast spells through them. And so they kind of mess up your auto-explore because it's telling you there's an enemy, but you can't really do anything to it. Now, there's a staff. That could be a huge pickup for us, but unfortunately, we've now just opened up and found a centaur and some yaks. So I'm going to try... The centaur luckily doesn't see us, so I'm going to walk over here. Now he sees us. And I'm going to... I don't like to do this because the centaur can shoot us, but while he can't... while he hasn't hit us yet, I'm going to push shift and I'm going to cast Toxic Radiance. I'm at full MP, by the way, as I start this. Now you'll see he already hit us. I'm going to do it again. And he's hit us twice, and now this is getting pretty painful. So what I'm going to do is step up here, so I'm no longer in his line of fire. He cannot shoot us. And I'm just going to let the poison do some work. Now, the slimes, or the jellies, rather, are not getting hurt by this. But it corroded us, actually, pretty severely right there. Now, corrosion is significant for these reasons. It hurts your armor class, and it hurts your weapon's ability to hit and do damage. It's like anti-slaying and anti-enchantment on armor, basically. So you can see our armor class went from 3 to -5 because we're corroded by -8, and even our +12 rapier is now only like effectively a +4 rapier. So this is very, very bad for us, but the nice thing that's going on here is this jelly is actually blocking us from getting hit by a lot of these more difficult enemies. So I'm just going to actually walk him back one more time to get as many of these guys on screen as I can, and then I'm going to do Toxic Radiance again. And then I'm going to ignite poison, and we're going to kill the centaur and the yak. And the jelly is still there, and I'm going to hit it with my rapier, and now he's dead. Now we have a yak coming at us, and that's scary because it can do a lot of damage. And we're running lower on MP. So my first inclination, I was just about to poison vapors this thing, but I need to be careful. I don't know what is down here. So wandering down here could potentially be lethal. So what I need to do is push Z to cast a spell, and I'm going to cast Mephitic Cloud. And I'm going to cast it right here. Okay? And it has not yet confused this yak, unfortunately, but I'm going to just ignite the poison. And it didn't even kill this yak. So that's very scary. But the flame clouds should prevent... It killed the vampire mosquito. I thought it would prevent this yak, but he really wants to get here. So he's going to walk through the fire to come get us, which is perplexing, but it's also okay. He's taking a lot of damage. Many enemies will not walk through clouds of damage. All right. I'm going to push Z, and I'm going to try to cast Mephitic Cloud again in a way that will confuse this yak. He's not yet confused. And I'm going to actually... I'm going to dangerously just wait 1 second. Okay, now he's become confused. Thankfully. He did hit us, but we still have a lot of hit points. And now what we can do is ignite poison and step back. The other yak has died. This yak is still here, and it's following us, unfortunately. Even though it's confused, it could still hit us and do a lot of damage. So I need to just cast Poison Vapors on this guy, and it kills him. Okay. So we're in a weird spot where we're okay, actually, because these walls are protecting us. There's a lot of enemies that want to come kill us, but they can't get to us easily, and we can run away. So I'm just going to push S a little bit here and see what they do. Okay, so we can actually just wait them out. They're not going to try to come around. This imp is going to try to come around, of course. But that's okay. An imp I can just use Sting on a few times and then hit him. You'll notice that our corrosion has worn off, so we're hitting at full capacity. And as long as we can get a hit, I'll sting him a couple more times, and then there we go. Now, a couple of things happened there. We got some extra MP from Vehement, and now it says Vehement is now aiding your destructive spells. So what that means is any spells that I have that do damage, the damage is being boosted by Vehement. So we get a slight power boost to our spells from Vehement, which is amazing. It's free. It doesn't cost anything extra as long as we keep this piety level with Vehement of 3 out of 6. So because we have been killing stuff, we've been gaining piety or favor with the god that we've chosen, Vehement, and it's starting to rack up in abilities. You can always push Shift 6 to look at your god screen, and you can see that the powers are listed from earliest gained to latest gained, and we've got everything except the extended range now, and then the final spells that Vehement will offer us that are super powerful. So we now have these two abilities in red are given to us from our piety level, and this is still to earn. And then this is in gray because we will progressively be earning more spells as we go. It's not like maxed out or anything. Now, these abilities can turn off if we were to lose piety, but that's not really a concern for us. Let me show you again. If you do the Shift 6 screen, you can use exclamation point to show you the wrath of the god, which is like what they don't like. And it just says he doesn't appreciate abandonment. So really the only way that we can get abandonment is by... I'm sorry, wrath and lose piety is by not killing things and by abandonment. So some gods, like their piety will just wear off over time. And if you're exploring a dungeon and just kind of walking around and not killing stuff, you might lose piety. I don't think Vehumet works that way, but you can check the wiki on Vehumet to see that more specifically, and I'm going to keep my eye on it. I don't think that it does. Okawaru, Trog, gods like that, gods of battle, they want you to be killing stuff, and so you can lose piety just by not getting into a fight. But it looks like the primary way to anger Vehumet and lose piety would be to abandon, and then it doesn't matter what your piety is at that point. So I'm going to actually chop this guy up and just eat this flesh here. Oh, I can't because I'm not hungry enough yet. Okay, I'll just wait then. I'm just going to keep pushing S. You'll see that the Yak's experience is actually also filling up. Oh, okay, so now we have to kill these orcs that have wandered in. I'll just ignite poison and then poison vapors. They all die. Okay. And still, I'm just pushing S, and it's a very, very slow way to heal. I'm even holding it down a little bit here, which is kind of dangerous, to be honest, because if an enemy were to come on, I could just get wailed on, but I'm being careful enough to make sure there's no enemy. All right, so now I think we're in a good spot to like pick up this gold, butcher this corpse, and then move around the corner and engage. We have full MP. We don't have full HP, but we have full MP. All right, the slime wants to come up, which is totally cool. We can fight this slime, sort of. Oof, oof. This slime is absolutely annihilating us. I completely underestimated how much damage one slime by itself could do to us, but it's a lot. So we need to step down here and step over here, and then we need to Mephitic Cloud right here. Now, oh, it's so unlucky. There's no cloud where this slime is. All right, so we got to move back, and we got a Mephitic Cloud. Ah! I hate that. Okay, sorry. It told me I couldn't cast it, and then I went to try to move my arrow key to aim the spell, and it had already turned the spell off and moved me, which meant I got hit an extra time, which I'm not happy about. Anyway, so I have to cast Mephitic Cloud using capital Z because this slime is not affected by it. We're just trying to do our ignite. We were trying to do our ignite poison trick, but I just got killed by this slime because he hit us for way more damage than I was expecting. How much did he hit us for? 20 damage. I really didn't think he had 20 damage in his pocket. And so that is a absolute surprise to me. Normally, slime creatures by themselves are joke enemies. So that is a case of me not having a good armor class and just underestimating slime damage. I didn't do my due diligence of examining the slime to see how much damage he could actually hit me for, and I thought I was within range of, if he hit me again, I have potions of heal wounds to drink. I thought I was totally cool to cast a spell and take him out, but apparently I was not. And so we've died, and this is the thing you have to be careful of with casters. They can take a lot of damage from enemies that you didn't find challenging as a melee character. And I just took 20 in one hit from a slime creature, which that might have been like a max damage roll for that guy. I don't know. Anyway, what I do know is that was easily preventable, and that was poor play on my part. So what I want you to learn on your end is to not do what I just did. Because you'll die, and that's dungeon crawl for you, and that's all a part of just learning when you need to heal, when you need to escape. I had a blink scroll that I could have gotten away with. I could have drank a potion of healing. There was lots of other options. I just miscalculated and didn't think I was within one-shot range, and I indeed was. And it's, in dungeon crawl, when you die, it's all over. It's permadeath. And the only option is to reboot and to take your experience and the knowledge you gained from your death and use it in your next run to get better. And to be honest, death is the best teacher in Dungeon Crawl. And I make mistakes. I am not a perfect player, and that was a mistake. And what I'm going to do is reboot this character and get back to this experience level, and then try to pick up this beginner guide and get a little bit further, because it's disappointing to have died, and I really want to showcase what this character can do if you get it to a higher level. It's also an example of the fact that the slime creature was not affected by poison, and so some of my spells weren't really doing anything to it. But the primary cause was we got unlucky that it didn't get in the poison cloud the first time, so I couldn't have ignited the poison there and killed it. But also, I failed to understand how much damage output was possible there. So I hope you guys find this episode to be educational, and I'm sorry that I bit the dust, but that's Dungeon Crawl for you. And I'm going to start again. I don't know if you guys actually want to see me play the beginning levels again. I might just kind of do that really quickly, and then catch you guys back up so that when I resume, I will still have an Ogre Venom Mage, and we will be getting ready to turn the corner and not die to things like slime creatures. Let me know in the comments below what you would like to see me do with this series. Would you like me to continue and put on camera the video of me catching up, or would you like me to just resume once I've hit 11th experience level again and talk about the new stuff that the character has and then move from there? Or do you want to see me move over to a different type of character? What do you think would be the most helpful to you in your Dungeon Crawl journey, in terms of what content I can provide that is entertaining and educational? Any feedback at all would be so greatly appreciated in the comments below. I want to thank you all for watching. Again, that was just completely a user error on my part that caused us to die, and that's the brutality of Dungeon Crawl. One misstep and it's over. So I hope you guys have an excellent evening or day, and I will check you in the next episode, whatever version that is based on the feedback I receive. Okay, everybody, take care. Hey everyone, how's it going? Well, I made my decision on my own because I was so frustrated that I died, and just feeling the feels and the emotions all over the place about it. I just dove right back in with another Ogre Venom Mage to try to, as quickly and insanely as possible, catch up, and I did it very, very quickly. I don't know if you can't see the time. I don't think... Yeah, 39 minutes, whereas before I was 3 hours in. So I just like kind of plowed ahead, and this is the attempt that I did right after I died. And we are the same experience level as before, but some notable things are different about this character, because every time, that's the beauty of Dungeon Crawl, which is that it's a roguelike, it's procedural, it's random, within certain constraints, and so every run is different. So let me show you. I am 11th level, but you'll notice that I do not have a plus 12 artifact rapier, but I did find a staff of poison. Staves are terrific things that casters can use to amplify the power of spells within the school that they are. So this staff of poison makes our poison magic stronger. I believe it makes it easier to cast. It might just make it stronger. And then it also gives you some other benefit, and this one makes you immune, poison resistant. So it's very nice for us. I also found an artifact robe, +5 robe of the Yeti with resist cold. And so you'll see that our armor class is actually 11, whereas we had 3 before. That's because we have a +5 robe, and we also found a +1 cloak that I used enchant armor on. And so we have some real nice durability going. My hit points are less than they were last time because I haven't really trained fighting yet. I was so incensed after losing that I just plowed into the game, and I forgot to turn my skills off of like auto skill train, so they aren't really optimized very well. You'll see it's pretty funny. I have some like points in dodging and things, which is, it's not, dodging is good, it's not a bad deal, but I'm a little bit behind on some of the skilling. Another huge piece of gear that we got was a Ring of Magical Power. Now this is just a regular magical item, but it gives you 10 extra MP, which is just outrageously nice to have that extra MP so you can spam one of your bigger spells an extra time. And then I have this Ring of Dexterity, which isn't really that good, but I don't have much better at the moment. I have a Ring of Resist Cold, but I don't think I need 2 stacks of it versus the +1 dodge that the Dex Ring gives me. I have not found an amulet yet. We also found Vehement a little later, and so we don't really have much piety at all. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. Okay. Alright, so let me just talk about this. So what happened was I forgot to actually worship Vehement. I found his altar and I went on it, but I must have not confirmed. So in my haste, I forgot to even join Vehement, who I had found earlier in the temple, but not much earlier. The temple was deeper than it was before, and we didn't just find a Vehement lying around, and so I have no piety with Vehement, and I'm actually a little bit shallower in the dungeon overall than I was before with this experience level, because we've encountered a lot of tough enemies. Let's see, who have we killed? Oh no, they're all dead, so you can't see them on this screen. But we've encountered a pretty decent amount of named elites. Harold, Eustachio, Duvessa, and Dwalin come to mind that we have had to face and destroy. And so our experience level is the same, but obviously many things are different. Now, before I get going, I want to say some things. One of the #1 killers in Dungeon Crawl is hubris, and so thinking you're more powerful than you are can cause you to make decisions that put you in an untenable position, and you die. Another huge killer is playing too fast, and I'm guilty of that all the time. I get impatient, I get lazy, I get in the zone with the game and just kind of zone out or make a few moves without really thinking about it, and then before you know it, it's all over. So this game really demands like a laser focus, and for me that means that I die a lot because I get distracted easily. But I just want to warn you about the importance of trying to play slowly, methodically, deliberately, being mindful of your decisions, your surroundings, your consumables, all of the options that you have. And if you get enraged, like I have, and you want to just get back into the game, you often will die playing too quickly. Now, I luckily didn't die playing too quickly, but I did forget to worship Vehement, go through with it. I kneeled at his altar, I just didn't confirm it. Alright, anyway, so another little rant meant to help educate you on the game. And these are lessons I myself am still learning, as you can see. Okay, so now we can go back down to Dungeon 8, and Dungeon 9 is the first dungeon that we leveled that we haven't touched yet. Alright, I'm actually going to pick up this net. You never know when a throwing net can come in handy. Alright. So here's a centaur, so let's just vapors him. Our vapors is now strong enough to leave a cloud, and he has poison, so I think igniting the poison will kill him. It did. Alright, here comes the iguana, and I'll sting him. Oh, you know what? That reminds me, speaking of that. Let me go into my spells. So instead of... I haven't had any offerings from Vehumit yet, and instead of finding the spell books that we found before, I did find a Book of Earth, and I memorized Sandblast instead of Shock to be my other like low-level damage spell if I need it. Sandblast is actually fantastic damage. It rolls really, really high. It checks against armor class, so if something has bad armor class, you can rip them apart with Sandblast. The only thing about Sandblast is that it requires that you carry some stones as part of like the component for the spell, but there's no weight in this game, so it's not a big deal. You can carry a stack of 10,000 stones and be fine. I also don't think I have any wands. Oh no, I have a wand of acid and flame. There we go. Those are recent acquisitions. And I do have 3 heal wounds potions. Let me get rid of this degeneration potion. That's ugly. And then let's dump these cursed items that we have. We can actually probably get rid of these rings of poison resistance for the time being. As long as we have this staff of poison, we're good. Another thing about staves is if you are trained in the spell school and you have good evocations, they can proc a spell when you hit in them with them in melee. So if I hit somebody with this and I had better evocations than my 0, I have a chance to poison them. So that's kind of nice, but really I'm just using it to amplify my spells. Now here's a buckler. A buckler is tremendous. It's a great shield to have for a caster. However, we are an ogre, so we're too big to use it. But what's great is if we do find a kite shield, we can use it like a buckler. Because we're so big, it's teeny for us, so it doesn't require as much shield skill to use. And you better believe, if I can find a kite shield, I will put it on just for the extra defensive ability it gives us. Alright. Let me just do Toxic Radiance here. It looks like we found the entrance to the lair. All of these Dungeon 9 and then all of these plants and mushrooms and then these enemy types, it very much looks like we have found the entrance to the lair. I'm just going to back up and ignite poison to kill these guys. And then anybody else want to fight? No, we killed most of the other ones. Let me just poison these dudes. Step in. Step in. This is kind of nice because we can use the plants as like a shield while we just Toxic Radiance and ignite poison and kill most of it. Is anybody coming over here? Let me just rest. Okay, this hound wants to come over, but he'll die quickly. Here comes an iguana. He'll die very rapidly. Or he should. Let me give him Sandblast. Alright, there he goes. Okay. Worker ant zombie, huh? I don't think so, buddy. He doesn't see us. He's like running away. Okay. Sandblast is the same range as Sting, so it's not really far, but it does allow you to hit zombies and undead for more damage than Sting will do. This guy we can just poison. And I'll just poison him, and I'm going to go ahead and ignite poison. I have, because of the Ring of Magical Power, which is a very, usually a pretty easy ring to get, I have a little bit of a cushion so I can use some bigger spells. Lightning Rod is terrific. A Lightning Rod is an evocable item, and so my evocations are terrible, but it's like an item that you can use to, when you evoke, it doesn't take any MP like a wand, and it has a pretty good effect, so it can be a nice source of damage. There is a artifact longsword, which may be terrific. Okay, here's a bunch of sleeping orcs. So what we do to sleeping orcs is we poison vapors, and then just ignite poison, and they all die. That's how powerful this gets when, especially when you're fighting low-level guys like that just don't have any hit points. But even this dude, you know, we ignite poison on this hippogriff, and he just explodes. Blinking Scroll is terrific. Worker Ant, we can just poison vapors. Let him step into view, give him sting, and he dies. Okay. Sure, jackals. Let's just Toxic Radiance to screen. It'll kill most of them instantly. These other ones will die. The human is giving us Magic Dart knowledge. I don't really need Magic Dart. It is nice because it has huge range, but it's very, very low power. It almost does no damage, especially like once you get a little bit into the game. It just will not hurt things. So it's kind of useless unless you start with it. Like if you're a wizard and you start with it, sure, fine. All right, Bullfrog. Poison vapors, poison vapors, poison vapors. Here he comes. I'll sting him, and he's still here, so I'm just going to ignite to get rid of him, because he still can hit me. We got a yak that's too close for our liking. And you can see the steps to the lair up there. I'm going to just Toxic Radiance and then ignite. And we've got 2 dead yaks. We now have 97 hit points, so we're just catching up nicely with where we were, if not surpassing it. Let me ignite poison on this bear. Bears you want to kill quickly because if they get low in HP, they go berserk and they can actually start ripping you apart. So I'm just going to use a bunch of MP and kill him. Here's a Phantom. Alright, so Phantom, he doesn't see me. I need to get him here. I need to do my Vapors. Oops. Alright, well, I can also Sandblast him. There we go. Sandblast works. That's why it's nice to have a spell like Sandblast or some first level nuke that's stronger than Magic Dart to use on guys like that. Alright, perfect. So now that's Dungeon 9 done, and you can see that we have found the lair. We haven't found the Orcish Mines yet, but we are in about the same position that we were before. I feel that we're actually a little bit stronger because we have an 11 AC instead of a 3. And so that gives us just that extra edge on survivability. We don't have frozen ramparts, but we have this poison staff and this ring of magical power, so we can spam our best spells and cast them extremely reliably and for huge potency. Our spell hunger on Toxic Radiance is down because of our staff, I believe, and our poison skills. So you can see our power level, range, and hunger level is very, very good with our spells. So this character is now in a position to resume, and I can't wait to show you more content. Hopefully I don't die again stupidly, but I make no promises. This is an unbelievably brutal game. It's a game that has like a 1% win rate, I think, across all players or something ridiculous like that. It might even be less than 1%. And that's like total games played. So less than 1% or around 1% end up in a victory. So it's a very hard game, and things can go really wrong really fast. Most of which you can control. Some can be bad luck. But in this case, I include my death. I don't edit it out because it's a learning experience. It always is. And I want to show you it can happen to anyone. I mean, myself included. I am not a tremendously great player. I just have been playing for a long time. So through sheer experience, I hope to give you some wisdom and skill. And now we can make it with this character, and I can show you what it can do in a place like the lair where things can get poisoned, and we can start just drinking up the experience on things like hydras. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative. I'm sorry about the death, but we've got a new ogre that's similar and yet different, and we're going to push forward to try and get some runes. All right, everybody. If you enjoyed this and you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, could you please do so? There is so much dungeon crawl content. You can watch some of my 15 rune victories if you want to see going all the way through the game with different types of characters. I have other tutorials. I'm going to be putting up more tutorials. And I also stream on the weeknights dungeon crawl, so there's always going to be content for that. And then there's other roguelikes that you might enjoy. So I think subscribing is a good bet. And then if you have any questions or comments, please post them below. I'd love to read them. All right, everybody. I hope you have an excellent evening or day. Thank you again so much for watching. Take care.